Guys, let's get the show on the road. I'm late again. I'm sorry. I was handling some stuff, but all in good work. I'm working on some other things on the side for WrestleMania week. It's right around the corner, guys. So preparing on the side. Hopefully, I'm ready for the show tonight. I had to come up with, had to research a lot of what was going around in the WWE. I know I had been staying like with the rumors as always. I try to keep up with them as the week goes on, but not a lot again this week. Um, there's a couple of things, some interesting things coming towards WrestleMania week. I think a lot of y'all will be interested in some of that stuff. Um, but without further ado, guys, let's get the show started and let's jump right into Showstopper episode number 6. All right, let's do it. All right, guys, welcome to the World Wrestling Show. As always, I'm your host, Jake Randy, and tonight it's Showstopper, where we talk WWE news, rumors, and predictions. Like I said to begin the show, guys, I may be a little lost everywhere because I'm focusing on a lot of other things for the channel. And like earlier today, I was working on another video for the channel that's coming out next week for WrestleMania week. So forgive me if things are a little all over the place. I just barely got able to start up preparing the show, getting all the images and stuff. So if anything's off, audio's off, just let me know in the chat, and I'll do my best to fix anything. But as of what I know, the show's doing all right now. So without further ado, let's jump into some of these news and rumors I just picked up not too long ago. I've been sticking around, the whole week, like I said, trying to keep my eye out for any interviews, anything interesting, any rumors, speculation, or anything going around. So I got a couple of things here. We're going to start off with, according to the Wrap, Paul Heyman's WWE deal, his contract with the WWE is coming to an end around the same time as Brock Lesnar. The rumor is, obviously, that if Brock Lesnar's leaving, like everyone thinks he's going to right after WrestleMania, that Paul Heyman's going to be going out the door with him. I don't know if this is true or what. Like I said, this shows, we're going to talk about stuff that some of it's confirmed, some of it's not confirmed. We're just going to talk about rumors. We're going to have WWE conversations, man. I don't know how true this is. I just read this not too long ago, so I mean, it would make sense that Paul Heyman would leave, that Brock Lesnar is going to be leaving, and so would Paul, unless they do want to put Paul Heyman with like Ronda Rousey or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what his thoughts are on that situation, because as we know, Ronda Rousey's not exactly the greatest on the mic. Um, Same for Asuka. I don't know. He could definitely kind of move on, but it's gonna come down to what Paul Heyman wants to do. Who knows? Paul Heyman, maybe he wants to retire. He doesn't want to have to deal with the WWE anymore. He's made a lot of money. He's cut a bunch of promos. He's one of the best promos, if not the best promo in the history, and he's doing great for himself. So there's no need for him to stay longer. But if he does, I mean, then again, okay, don't take my words and twist them, because there is a need for Paul Heyman, because he's one of, like I said, the best promos in WWE. So they could definitely use him. But if Paul Heyman wants to go, it's his time to go, man, and that's perfectly fine. He's done a lot for the business, and I'd hate to see him personally go, but what can you do, man? The guy can't stay here forever. Without Brock Lesnar, maybe it's not going to be the same for Paul Heyman, but Paul Heyman's always been the same. I don't know. Maybe we could do commentary. That would be kind of cool. I remember one time, when he did the whole commentary with Jim Ross, that was some good stuff there. But for Paul Heyman's future, it's still questionable. What we do know, though, is his contract is going to end very soon to when Brock Lesnar's contract ends. So, they could write them both off at the same time, possibly. Possibly not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see come post-WrestleMania what the deal is with Paul Heyman. More Paul Heyman stuff going around was like, so people were saying that the WrestleMania main event, for a while we were saying, could it be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, like everyone kind of thinks it's going to be? Could they change it up and throw something wild at us, like AJ Styles and Shinsuke actually be the main event? Or could it be Undertaker versus John Cena the main event? There's so many different matches. There was talk even at one time about Ronda Rousey being the main event, and I saw that get a lot of hate. from a lot of fans. But apparently Paul Heyman confirmed that WrestleMania 34's main event will be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. It's kind of one of those things where, like, I don't know if he actually confirmed it in this interview that he had, or he's just, being Paul Heyman, being a positive advocate, stating, very confident words and stuff. Because, like, okay, for example, this is what he said, quote, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns is the main event of this year's WrestleMania because there's more interest in this match than there is any other, period. Exclamation point. That's the match that sells this show. All these other matches are very intriguing. Each one of them is worthy of insight and preview and speculation, but only one can be the true main event. Only one can be the match that's listed in the history books as this was the most important, this draws the attention, this is what we banked on, and on Sunday, April 8, 2018, WrestleMania 34, we are banking on Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns in the main event. That's no disrespect to anyone else who plays a vital role on this show. It really isn't. AJ Styles versus Nakamura is a fascinating matchup. Ronda Rousey in her debut teaming with a fellow Olympian Kurt Angle against the first couple of the WWE, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Fascinating matchup on so many different levels. John Cena having called out The Undertaker is of a historic nature that can't be oversold. And again, what a fascinating thing to speculate about. But there's only one true main event, and that main event happens to be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. If someone else in this time period before WrestleMania can create such interest that the show's fortune rides on them, then they will replace Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in the main event of WrestleMania. But until that happens, I think we have enough on our side of the argument to continue the public interest and the public intrigue in this match. So, not sure if that's exactly, confirmed that it's the main event. All the dirt sheets and stuff, they're going all crazy about saying that this is confirmed. This is Paul Heyman saying that the WrestleMania 34 main event is Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. It's not surprising to me. I didn't ever doubt in one moment that Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns was going to be the main event. Despite all the speculation going around, this has been Vince's, I feel like, #1 priority since day one. It's been predicted since last year's WrestleMania that this is the match. So it only makes sense. It's the main event. That I could see definitely it being the main event. I think it is confirmed. I think it's been confirmed for quite some time. Yeah, I heard that Paul Heyman, to Gundam in the chat, that's what I've just been hearing. I kind of just read this today though, so I'm trying to get more confirmation. It was according to the Wrap that Paul Heyman's deal would be coming up soon, like around the exact same time of Brock Lesnar's, so they could write them off both together, or they could move Paul Heyman onto something else. I think Paul Heyman's one of those people that he could be written off TV, but yet he could still be behind the scenes in WWE, kind of helping out talent, and maybe he could do something helping talent with their promos, man, because there's a lot of people on the roster that could be use some help on the promos, and he doesn't always necessarily need to be their manager, to provide help. It would be kind of interesting. Maybe he does something in NXT. I don't know. There's a lot of places for Paul Heyman to be. It's just he's really talented on the mic, and yeah, it kind of would be it kind of would suck to see him go, because I'm a big fan of his promos. He knows how to hype up a match. Yeah, it did seem like the main event. And yeah, like I said, I never doubted it. I mean, it had to be. What else went down recently? Maurice, she gave birth to the Miz, to Miz's daughter, Monroe Sky Mizanin, I think is her name. This is good news for the Miz because apparently Maurice was going to be due, I think, WrestleMania Day, and the Miz was talking about, like, no matter what would happen, if his baby was going to be born right before his match at WrestleMania, he always had a private jet, like, set and ready to go. If it was going to happen right before WrestleMania, he said, quote, that he was going to say goodbye to WrestleMania and he was going to go see his daughter be born because, that was more important to him. So now that his daughter's born, Miz can look forward to WrestleMania. He doesn't have to stress out about possibly his daughter or Maurice going into labor right before his match at WrestleMania, because that would be an interesting thing they would have to do there. They would have to change some plans up right off the Miz somehow, or just come out and say straightforward that the Miz's daughter or the Maurice was having going through labor and the Miz had to go, So good news for the Miz. Now he can focus on that triple threat that he has going on for WrestleMania, where he's going to defend his title. What else went down, man? I don't know if you guys saw this. Ronda Rousey had an interview. This kind of got a lot of hate. I think I have the video here I can show you in case y'all didn't see it. Let me see if I could pull it up. Like I said, I was setting up the show a little late, so I'm going to try to get everything set for you guys without any mess ups or anything. Here we go. I think you guys should be able to hear this. In case you didn't see the interview, this is what's getting kind of a lot of attention from fans. You can see all the dislikes, how many dislikes it got. Just, I don't know, Ronda Rousey was asked a question about the MMA or the UFC, and her response got a kind of a lot of hate from, wrestling fans. So this is what she had to say.
Tell us what we should be expecting from Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 34.
I think there's nothing that can really be expected, to be honest. Every day has been unexpected. Every day so far, I literally walk in and have no idea what's about to happen. So I don't know what to expect, so I can't tell you guys what to expect.
So, Ronda, let's go back and start with when you knew from the MMA, when you were done there, when you knew in your mind, I'm not going to fight anymore.
I never said that.
Ah, so there is a possibility that you could go back in time?
There's a possibility that I could go back in time? That's your question to me?
Go back in time and fight. Go back in the octagon.
I do not have the ability to go back in time, no.
No. Would you fight again?
I don't know.
How was the training for this?
So basically, the interview got awkward. There's some more stuff if y'all want to see the rest of the video. But this got a lot of attention from wrestling fans during the week. At her response, it's obvious that, if you know Ronda Rousey from the UFC, she had a pretty emotional, like 2 losses back to back, and that led to her retirement in the UFC. She was undefeated at one point, and then the first loss she took was very devastating. There was times where she was saying that she was like thinking about suicide, and she just went like disappeared from social media and everywhere. So obviously it's still a soft spot for Ronda Rousey, because things got really awkward in that interview right there. She's still getting used to the whole WWE thing. I think later in the interview they start asking her about like her WrestleMania opponents, and she kind of tries to do the kayfabe, but she kind of does it in a, she's still new. I'm not gonna bash Ronda Rousey or anything like I've said in the past. I'm gonna give her some time before I start criticizing anything she does. But yeah, that video got a lot of attention for her response. I dare show some of the comments. I'm pretty sure they're pretty crazy down here. If it lets me see the comment. Yep, exactly what I thought. Yeah, this people were just saying she's a snowflake. She left the UFC for the WWE because she couldn't win in the UFC. I guess just, a lot of hate going towards Ronda, but like I said, I'm gonna give her a chance and see how she does in the WWE. Just something that was going around in the WWE universe, I guess you'd say, recently. Thought I'd show you guys. What else went down? Per the Observer, the word going around on AJ Styles' injury is it had to deal with a concern of his MCL. This was pretty new this week. Big news for AJ Styles. The whole deal. We've been wondering for like a week or two, or maybe longer, what the whole injury was with AJ Styles. It was at the Madison Square Garden that it kind of actually blew up, where he had to sell a fake injury, and then people started realizing that AJ Styles hadn't been used in matches for very long. So there was concern about, is AJ Styles going to make it to Mania? Well, it came out recently that his concern was his MCL, which is a major injury, man. We've seen Seth Rollins, what was it, last year or the year before, with his MCL issue and his ACL. That could put out someone for a year, longer, or even the whole career. So an MCL injury is no joke. But AJ Styles recently spoke with USA Today and said, quote, "A little of nothing. It was just one of those, got hit in the back of the knee. I think it scared more people than it actually scared me. I knew I was going to make it to WrestleMania. There's nothing wrong with me." So confirmation from AJ Styles himself. He's going to be at WrestleMania, and there should be no concern anymore about his injury. So one of those WWE things, that kind of got took out of context. Maybe. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but, it just got boosted by the fan base more than it actually was a concern. It wasn't that big of a concern according to AJ Styles. But people were freaking out. I mean, people really wanted. That just shows you how many people wanted to see AJ Styles versus Shinsuke. That any thought of AJ Styles being injured and not being able to compete in that match at WrestleMania was going to be a big concern to a lot of fans. Speaking of injuries, according to PW Insider, Dean Ambrose was in Birmingham working on rehabilitating his tricep injury, and he's still in a sling. Still no word on when he'll be back. Also, he was taken off the WrestleMania Access the morning of WrestleMania. I think it was going to be April 8th, and it was going to be like a morning WrestleMania Access thing. He was taken off that, so that got a lot of fans intrigued. People even asking, is he going to come back WrestleMania? Is he going to make an appearance at WrestleMania? I mean, unless he's just selling the injury with the sling, I don't know if he's ready to come back. A tricep injury can take a while. I think the span they gave him on like WWE television was like 8 months or something, but I think that was over exaggerated because it wasn't a full tricep tear. It was a half, I think, or 50% tricep tear. So it wasn't a full tricep tear, which would usually take up that much time. But from what I heard is that the reason they said it would take 8 months was to make Dean Ambrose look even better whenever he does return earlier than that. Like, wow, he's not supposed to be back in yet, but he's a lunatic. It's Dean Ambrose. I can't help but think he's actually somewhat injured. It's just that nothing's going to stop him from making that fight happen. Yeah, it could be true. Maybe AJ Styles is just being in denial. We've seen in the past SmackDowns, every single SmackDown, he's either not competing or he's in a match that just takes no effort. And WWE live shows too, from what I've heard, is that he'll have like a tag team match. That way he doesn't actually have to compete in the match that much. He'll get in the ring a little bit, but then he'll tag out. Spend most of the match not even competing in the ring. We see it on TV, live events, pay-per-views. It's obviously still a concern if the WWE doesn't have him competing at all. And I'm sure even this week on SmackDown, just for safe reasoning, they were probably just going to have him cut a promo or something. Or just like last week on SmackDown, he's probably just going to spectate one of Shinsuke's matches. That's probably, a major reason why we haven't seen too much booking for their feud. It's been on SmackDown week after week that we just see them have these backstage segments where Shinsuke's kind of just telling AJ that I'm going to knee you to the face and come WrestleMania, I will beat you. And then just different variations of that throughout each SmackDown. That's probably why, I don't blame WWE. As much as I love watching AJ Styles perform, I'd rather see him healthy WrestleMania and see him hopefully steal the show come WrestleMania. But as of all right now, he's doing perfectly fine. Well, I can't say that, but as of what we hear from, everything going around, he's good to go, to say the least, for WrestleMania. Other news about Hulk Hogan, like when I was going through rumors, I saw nothing but Hulk Hogan talks about him. Let me read this comment real quick. Yeah, he hasn't done any actual physical work on TV for a couple of weeks. It's somewhat concerning. I just hope he doesn't damage his body too much during the fight. Yeah, that's true, because come WrestleMania, it's the biggest night of the year. It's the grandest stage of them all. Insert big catchphrase WrestleMania name. This is where he puts everything on the line. I feel like AJ Styles is one of those competitors that, obviously, because he's doing what he can to make it to the main event of WrestleMania, injury or not. He stated on different interviews, like, it's going to take a lot for him to not make it to WrestleMania. He's going to go injured or not. So I would imagine, at WrestleMania, he's going to put everything on the line. Like, injured or not, he's still going to be the performer that we usually see him when he's at 100%. Because it's the biggest night of the year. He really wants to steal that show. So I'd imagine, he's going to put everything on the line. I just hope that he comes out healthy, like you stated. And, we see AJ Styles fine post-WrestleMania. And I don't know. It's interesting to see, I don't want to get into too much predictions because we're going to do WrestleMania predictions WrestleMania week. But, what is Styles going to keep the title? Is he going to drop the title? Is he going to go to Raw? There's that big draft for that shakeup apparently coming up. I think the rumor right now is it's after WrestleMania. Not like the next Monday Night Raw, the night after. But I think it's supposed to be like last year's where it was not the night after WrestleMania, but the week after that Monday Night Raw. That's what I've been hearing. I'm not sure how true that is. But, a lot of speculation on AJ Styles. I agree, though. I just hope he's healthy and can put on a hell of a performance. Where else did we start? Oh yeah, it just talks about Hulk Hogan. I've been seeing a lot about that. Um, a lot of places like TMZ were taking out of context that Mark Henry stated that Hulk Hogan is not ready to be or ready to return due to what he said about racism or racist comments or whatever. Um, Hulk Hogan's been a lot in the news talking about how he wants to return. He wants to not only apologize to different races, but to just superstars and wrestlers in general. He really wants to come back. WWE's been hinting, like I said last week, a lot of Hulk Hogan. I've seen on WWE.com. We saw, during the Hillbilly Jim Hall of Fame induction thing, promo that they were showing Hulk Hogan in there. So we're starting to see hints of Hogan. And then, because we didn't see Hogan at all. They tried to erase Hogan from, like, I guess, somewhat history, which, is pretty impossible with how big of a star he was back then. But now they're starting to, like, slowly push Hogan back into the fans' eyes, I would say. So I would say, it's not going to be long till we see Hulk Hogan. I don't think we see Hulk Hogan really, like, Hall of Fame or WrestleMania, like, not that soon, due to how much talk is going on about Hulk Hogan, and fans saying they don't want to see him yet, and some fans saying they want to see him. I don't think they bring him back just yet, but he's getting closer to returning. I know there's talks. This is something I didn't write down, actually, but I should have. I heard there's talks about a new general manager for Smackdown Live because of Daniel Bryan obviously going to be competing again, and then Shane McMahon, who dropped his, or he stepped down from being the commissioner of SmackDown. So, is that somewhere we see Hulk Hogan? Maybe, I don't know. There's a couple of different options I could see for the general manager. I'll make predictions on that later, but that was something I found interesting. I just read that today too. A lot of stuff I just read today. A couple of things I heard during the week, but like I said, not a lot this week, and it's surprising considering WrestleMania is coming up. But I'm sure WrestleMania week, a lot of rumors and speculations are going to be dropped. Speaking of WrestleMania, the set was, I think, sort of, I don't know if it was actually leaked, but there was a tweet that went around, and people were saying that it could be a possible, I guess, like, model they were making on a laptop, and it was leaked or something. Someone took a picture. This is the image right here. So I saw this on PW Insider. I think it was on PW Insider, and they were showing these images of the set. Not really much you can see there, but they were just saying that, it's going to be a circular entrance model. It's obviously not a lot, so it's not like the whole stage was leaked in general, but just something I thought that was interesting out there. Maybe you guys would find interesting. They should be working on the set by now. That's what I've heard, that the set is actually being worked on. I think it was as of like last Thursday that they began working on the set. Usually it gets leaked eventually. There's someone out there that takes a picture and the fans get a hold of it. So I'm sure we will see it soon. But my main thing, man, I just want to see Pyro come WrestleMania. I hope we do see Pyro. It's been a long time, well, probably since like last year WrestleMania. I think that was like last year when they banned the whole Pyro thing. But it's WrestleMania, man. We gotta see Pyro. Like, a WrestleMania with no Pyro is gonna be just so weird, It's already weird seeing Brock Lesnar do his entrance and he screams and there's no Pyro. Or, I understand that you can't give everyone Pyro. It did get kind of out of control where everyone just had Pyro going on. But I just want to see Pyro. It's WrestleMania, the biggest night of the year. It's the Super Bowl of professional wrestling, sports entertainment. We should see Pyro. What else was going down? Let's see. More notes. Talked about Paul Heyman. NXT on Wednesday, apparently William Regal's going to have a special announcement for the NXT Universe. The semifinals of the Dusty Road Tag Team Classics is going to go down. The Authors of Pain are going to take on the Street Profits. We're also going to see Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne versus Sanity. So, man, I've been watching a couple NXT when I get a chance to watch the playback. And NXT is always good, when you get a chance to see it. There's not always a lot that goes down. Sometimes my only little complaint about NXT is they'll kind of just recap what happened the week before and the week before. But you know, they have so long booking they have to do because they don't always have a takeover. So it makes sense for NXT to kind of do in the style they're doing. And you know how it's only sometimes an hour show, or I think it's only an hour show, right? But it makes sense because they're booking. You know, when was the last takeover besides the one we're about to see in New Orleans? It was at the Royal Rumble, maybe, something probably far back. So they have to do these long-term bookings. They have to defend their titles every once in a while on NXT tapings. But I like what NXT does, man. And come takeover, they're gonna steal the show once again. There's so many great matches that are gonna be down to see. Like the ladder match they're gonna have for that new championship. I forget what it's called, the North American Championship, I think it's called. But I thought I'd throw that in there for you guys to just know what's gonna go down for NXT. You guys should definitely check it out. I know I'm gonna check it out, and if I miss it, I'll watch the playback for sure. Because NXT New Orleans is right around the corner, where a lot of the fans are gonna be excited, and I can almost guarantee it's gonna be a hell of a show. It always is, and especially big shows like New Orleans and NXT Brooklyn. These shows always steal the show. Sometimes they could be better than WrestleMania, so be on the lookout for that. Another thing going around is that John Cena is apparently not going to be around much after WrestleMania. The word going around is that he's, going to be filming more movies. He's got more outside WWE things to do. So it looks like after WrestleMania, that dream match that we're going to see between Undertaker and Cena, they're both going to be gone. So that feud's going to end at WrestleMania, For all we know, it's probably going to be the end of Undertaker's career. I don't imagine Undertaker coming back. And we say that every year, I feel like, as fans. We always question, is it Undertaker's last match? This one, in my opinion, it has to be, because what's left for the Undertaker? He could put another younger superstar over, but this is going to be probably his third loss, unless Cena loses to the Undertaker. But I don't know. I imagine Cena gets the win, unless they want Undertaker to go out big. But I don't know. But I would imagine this has to be Undertaker's last WrestleMania. Like, there's no question. Usually every year there's a little bit of a doubt, but this year kind of seems like, it's got to be over. He did the whole thing last year where he retired, where he looked like he retired. We thought that was it. This has to be it, in my opinion. So, yeah, John Cena probably won't be around much after WrestleMania. He'll probably be back for, like, SummerSlam or another big pay-per-view. Besides that, what else is going on? WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar, he appeared at a WWE live event in Boston recently. I think it was this past week, where he was in a triple threat match against Kane and Braun Strowman. The match went on for about 5 minutes. Brock won with an F5 to Kane, and the question is that Brock Lesnar's last win in the WWE ever? Is Brock Lesnar gonna go to WrestleMania 34? And he's going to compete against Roman Reigns? Is he going to lose and then just go off into the sunset and we never see Brock Lesnar ever again? There's no word on his contract, whether he's going to resign, if he's going to leave for the UFC, is he just going to retire from everything in general, take a break? He's got enough money. He can spend time with family, spend time on his farm, where he likes to spend time alone time and stuff, I don't know. But it could be, that could have been Brock Lesnar's last match, because he's not going to compete any time soon, unless there's some match he has on Raw, but there's no way. Just from WrestleMania, that's got to be his last match. But the question is, was that his last win at that live event in this 5-minute match he had against Kane and Braun Strowman? What else is going down? WrestleMania 34 is apparently scheduled to be 7 hours long. It makes sense, I guess. Isn't that what last year kind of was? I'm pretty sure this is including the pre-show and everything. I think it was like last year. I think we get told this almost every year, that WrestleMania is going to be like 7 hours. And some of the fans like freak out like, whoa, it's going to be 7 hours. That's a long time. But I think every year we kind of get that. Unless WrestleMania is getting longer and longer. I know it's gotten longer over like the decade, but the past like 4 WrestleManias, they've been pretty long. I'm not sure if that's like any new thing, but the pre-show, I'm pretty sure, like they said the pre-show is going to be, I think, on the USA Network. The first hour of WrestleMania is supposed to be on the USA Network, and then the second hour of the pre-show is going to be on the WWE Network, and then of course WrestleMania, or the second hour, my bad, the second hour of WrestleMania is going to be on the WWE Network and YouTube and their Facebook or whatever. And then the third hour, which is just, you know, WrestleMania, is going to be on the WWE Network. I would assume that's including the 7 hours that they're saying WrestleMania is going to be, is including the pre-show and everything else. So I think what did it start at? I'm trying to think what time it started at. Well, where I'm from in Central Time, I think it was like 4. It was like 4 or 5, and went all the way till midnight or past midnight. So yeah, man, 7 hours long. It's a long time, man. But I think it's usually like, or not usually, but the last 4 years I think they've been like that. What else went down? A wrestler got attacked. Oh, can I pull up this video? I really want to show you guys this video. Let me see if I can find it, because I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was a wrestler, an independent wrestler. He had gotten attacked by a fan. You know what? I think one of these channels might have had it. I think that's where I might have caught it. I know I uploaded it on my Twitter, but you know what? I don't think it had sound. My bad. Did I change the picture over there? Yeah, I think I did. Let me see if I can show you guys this. Probably no audio, but it's still pretty funny. Let's see if I can show you guys this. Let me change this. Okay. Alright, so it's recorded on a phone, so it's like, you know, filmed vertical. But anyways, the story is an independent wrestler was at an indie show, obviously, and he was trying to get some heel heat, but he did it in the wrong way. He spit on a child, or some say, or it was probably his gum or something. It looked like he spit his gum on the child. Either way, it's a big no-no, man. You don't spit on a child to get heel heat, and you'll see what happens due to him spitting on the child. So he's the guy with the jacket right there, the red and black. He's going right there, offers a handshake to the kid, and then just spits his gum or spits on the child. And the parent or whoever comes over there and just starts beating his ass. Just starts wailing on him. And the guy just, you know, no-sells it and has to continue on. Obviously, you can't attack the fan. I thought that was pretty funny. Something random in the indies, man. Some of the stuff you see on the indies is crazy. I don't know how much that video exploded or anyone found out about that, but I just found that funny. What else went down? We talked about the WrestleMania set. Shane McMahon. The question is he gonna return to Smackdown this week? You know, Daniel Bryan dropped that bomb on everyone by saying, I mean, we kind of predicted that the match was going to be Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, so that wasn't the surprise. But the surprise was that Shane McMahon had been dealing with diverticulitis, and then he had a hernia, so people were already writing him off WrestleMania, saying he's not going to make it. He's done. But Daniel Bryan announced that they're going to be teaming up unless WWE plans on using that as a storyline and then having Daniel Bryan to have to choose another partner. I've heard a lot of people say they want to see Y2J team up with Daniel Bryan, and it makes sense. He's kind of like the most logical one to make sense because, you know, he had that Kevin Owens feud with him last year, so it would make sense that he takes a spot. But as of right now, it looks like Shane's going to return to SmackDown Live this week, and we'll see Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon team up to go against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, which is pretty insane, man. For a guy to recover that quickly from a hernia and diverticulitis, which is obviously no joke from what we've known about Brock Lesnar, it's pretty insane. So I guess that's one of those questions I just thought I'd mention on the show because that's something I don't know. I haven't heard anything about. Everyone's just kind of questioning. Another thing, big question this week is who's Braun Strowman's tag team partner? We talk about this all the time on the Raw review. We have no idea who his partner is going to be. A lot of predictions been going around. Foolish ones like James Ellsworth. Some more serious ones like Samoa Joe. Who else was another? Elias. Speaking of Elias, actually, there's another rumor going around about Dwayne Johnson or The Rock. The word is going around that The Rock may return to WWE at WrestleMania to have a segment. From what I heard is that Vince wanted a segment where Elias would be in the ring, you know, playing his guitar, doing a classic Elias segment, but at the biggest stage of them all, WrestleMania. You know how WWE usually has these things. I'm trying to think of examples, but they usually have an in-ring segment. I know there was a time where they had Shawn Michaels and Mick Foley and Stone Cold come out, and they stunnered like what do they call it? The Nation of Domination? No, that's what they're called, League of Nations or something like that. But you know, my point is that WrestleMania always has those segments where it's not a match, it's more of a segment. And they were apparently the plan was Vince McMahon wanted Elias to be in the ring and have his typical guitar segment, and then you would have 5 other legends interrupt him or something. They'd probably attack him and beat him up. And apparently The Rock was going to be one of those. But apparently, from what I've heard, and I keep saying apparently, but from what I've heard is that The Rock is not confirmed. So Vince kind of scrapped the idea because he thought, like, well, if The Rock's not going to show up, then it's not going to be that big of a star power, or they don't have enough star power to move on with the segment with the other 4 legends or whatever they're going to use. But my bad, keep changing over here. I don't know. Could we see The Rock? I'd imagine, man. How many times has The Rock appeared in WWE? I'm trying to think. Was he at last year's Mania? Probably not, right? He was at 32. I think I remember that. Yeah, I was at 32. Yeah, he was there with Cena. 33, he wasn't there, I want to say. But, you know, The Rock was there at 30. He was there at 31, I think. Yeah, he was there at 31, 32, and 30. So it'd be pretty cool to see The Rock at WrestleMania 34. Because I believe Elias doesn't have anything planned. That's right. On Monday Night Raw, we were talking about this. That the commentators were talking about Elias and how he has no plans for Mania. They didn't even put him in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale, or from what I've heard. So it could make sense, you know, have him have his segment. He's really over. The guy's over. So the crowd at WrestleMania would be cool, and I think it's something people would enjoy. If he's not going to have a match, you know, we'll throw him in there and have a segment, because his gimmick is really what gets him over. It's not like exactly his in-ring work. Don't get me wrong. Elias is great in the ring, but his character and everything about him is really what makes him over with the fans, I think. So that would be awesome to see a segment like that. I think we've seen in the past Roddy, if I can get the words out of my mouth right, Roddy Piper, the Piper's Pit segment we saw one time with him and Stone Cold. That was a good classic moment. This could be a classic moment right here. You can see Elias. He probably put over some legends and whatnot, but we see it at WrestleMania all the time. It's kind of like a rub off of, like, you know, handing over the torch. You know, you got to pay your dues in the WWE. So it would be kind of cool to see that happen to Elias. That would be a good spot for him. I think better than the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. Or screw it, you know, put him in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale and then have him also come out later in the night and have his performance. Let me see what else there is. Undertaker's return. I mean, that's not really that big of a deal. I think everyone's kind of predicting Undertaker's going to be there this week. Why wouldn't he be there? Why wouldn't he appear to confirm Undertaker versus Cena? Another question is that apparently there's going to be a live performance. You know how usually somebody perform a live musical. There's a live musical performance for somebody's entrance, or multiple entrances. There's one that's going around, they're saying, but it's a secret or something. They're hiding it. They're keeping it a secret, but there is a guaranteed musical performance. Doesn't surprise me. There's always a musical performance. The question is, who's it going to be? Who would you guys like to see it be? Who have we seen in the past? I'm trying to remember last year. Whose musical performance was last year? Dang, I don't remember. I know 32, we saw Sasha Banks come out with Snoop Dogg. I don't think we've ever seen like anyone perform like Seth Rollins' song, or like, I know my co-host that sometimes joins me for the show, Nate, he said he's excited, or he would want to see AJ Styles have a performance, but I think his song's created by what's the guy's name that the new Jim Johnson of WWE, I forget his name. But anyways, I think his song's created, unless they have like somebody, a band, just play it for him. But you know, you can have Motorhead play Triple H's song again. There's a lot of entrances I think that could be pretty cool. Like I said, I could see Seth Rollins if we've never seen Seth Rollins entrance. The whole burn it down. Yeah, I could definitely see that go down. I think we've seen Randy Orton. I think he's had a live performance. Bray Wyatt one time he had a live performance. Sting had that, crazy drums and everything. I'm excited to see Shinsuke's entrance though, man. I just want to hear that crowd sing. One of the things about WrestleMania though is that the arena is so huge. Usually when it's in a stadium, it's hard to set up mics in spots. So sometimes, I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but the audio isn't exactly like what you would expect because you can't hear everything. It's so big that it sounds kind of quiet at times. But trust me, I've been to a WrestleMania in person and it's loud. It's just that the television and the audio, the mics for for live television can't exactly catch all that. As soon as you said live performance, I was thinking Shinsuke. That would be cool, man. Shinsuke live performance and the crowd singing with it. That would be awesome. I'm excited to see Shinsuke. I'm excited to see Bobby Roode. I just love hearing the fans sing along to anyone's song, man. That like Becky Lynch. I don't know why people don't sing to her song anymore. I like that when they used to do that in NXT a little bit. I'm excited to see that, man. I saw what was it? It was like a simulation of it. Somebody had made an animation or some animation of Shinsuke and AJ Styles entrances, and they did a really good job of it. I would play it on the show, but there's just some copyright music and stuff. But Shinsuke is definitely, man. I would love to see a live. Can they do that? Who is Shinsuke's song made by? I'm pretty sure it's made by the same guy, the WWE music creator. But it wouldn't be, I don't think, an issue. They can hire people to play the song. It's not like it has to be a specific real life band that made the song. Shinsuke could definitely be a live performance. Who else can have a live performance? I'm trying to think. I can't think of like a female maybe, but they've already done like Sasha Banks. Who else could they possibly do? Everyone's song doesn't really have like lyrics to it. I don't know, but I'm sure there's gonna be big entrances. Like I said, I just want to see pyro. I'm excited for Mania. I hope it's not a letdown. I've heard some people say WrestleMania looks like it's going to be a letdown, but that's kind of hard to say, man. I think WrestleMania has potential, man. The card's not bad. It's not bad at all. I don't want to go just into Shinsuke and AJ Styles. Obviously, that's going to be a great match. There are some matches I'm thinking like Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. What other? But everything else could be good. Like The Miz, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins. I know their booking hasn't been good and stuff. On television, it's been like Miz TV after Miz TV and promo, but I think they could really have some great chemistry in the ring in that triple threat match. You got Rusev now in the Fatal 4-Way in the Randy Orton United States Championship match. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, as much as heat that match gets for having Roman involved and Brock being his part-timer self, it could be a great match as well. Like I said in the past, if it's like anything like the WrestleMania 31 match, that could be pretty badass. Just them kicking each other's ass, kind of questioning, is this a shoot? I think that's where WWE is going to kind of aim. They're going to make it kind of have the fans question, like, holy shit, is Brock Lesnar really beating the crap out of Roman Reigns? Are they really taking shots at each other? I'm looking at it positively. They're matches that have a lot of potential just based on the athletes that are competing in them. Yep, I could. Why would WrestleMania not be a disappointment? I think that's the wrong way to go into it. I think that's the typical critical WWE fan judging WrestleMania before it even happens, just so they can say, I told you so, I told you WrestleMania would suck or something. But, the community's full of a lot of negative people, but you got to look at it positive. I think WrestleMania could be good. Let me see if there's any other news that I might have missed out on, guys, because, like I said, there wasn't much, but from what I got down, yeah, I don't think. Let me double check, make sure nothing's breaking news or anything going on in WWE right now. See, just Hulk Hogan, some CM Punk stuff. Paul Heyman talking about CM Punk, saying that Paul Heyman prefers that CM Punk doesn't come to the WWE anytime soon because he's focused on UFC and stuff. yeah, just basically everything I've told y'all today. AJ Styles injury, Nia Jax, Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan. See, not a lot of breaking news or anything going down at the moment. Usually after I'm done with the show, then stuff starts coming out. So let me actually, guys, let me show you the schedule for next week. I think I made a schedule. I put it on the Twitter account just so anyone who's watching knows what's going to be going down WrestleMania week, because I plan to stay busy the whole week and work on the channel. I just finished that video I was talking about for a while, Vince's greatest creation, WrestleMania. So you guys, I hope you guys are going to like it. I've had some people watch it early, so they said they liked it. So this goes more for the indies, but did you hear that the Fighting Commission is banning? That's another thing. Yeah, the Fighting Commission of New Orleans, and they're involved with also boxing. They're banning. They actually, this came out like a couple of weeks ago, but the real news was that they kind of let WWE and ROH on the loose. Like, they're allowed to use pile drivers and moonsaults, because it was really strict. It went far. A couple weeks ago we heard like it was going to be pile drivers and it was something else, and blood. But they've came out and saying like it's more strict than that. It's like moonsaults. You can't even like moonsault, or you can't do a backflip because of a past injury where a wrestler, like, I think, damaged his neck or something, and he might have passed away, I think, or was just paralyzed. I forget the story, but yeah, apparently WWE and ROH is off the hook. That kind of confirms, that ROH isn't exactly an independent show. But yeah, all the other indies shows look like they're gonna be screwed, man. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have to find their way around it without doing a lot of these moves. One of the biggest promotions is, I think, what is it? It's classic hardcore wrestling or something. I think it's CZ or Combat Zone Wrestling or something like that, where it's just pure hardcore. It's one of those bloody wrestling promotions, and I don't know what they're gonna do, because they're involved in WrestleMania week and they're not let off the loose. So I don't know what's gonna happen between them. There was an article stating that like drivers, certain dives are banned in the state, and it's not affecting WWE because of their credibility, and ROH I heard as well. I didn't hear about any other promotion. All the other indie promotions, I heard they have to get permission. They have to ask if they want anything specific to be done on their shows. But yeah, thanks for calling that out, man, because that was another thing that I completely forgot about. Because sometimes I hear these things like early in the week, like right after, like I said, like I'll hear something right after the show. I forget to write it down, and then I forget come next week that I should talk about it. But yeah, that was a big thing coming forward to WrestleMania week. Big news right there. A lot of these promotions, I'm not sure what they're gonna do. But yeah, that's about everything, guys. What else? I was gonna show you the schedule. Let me see if I can find that real quick. That'll probably be the last thing I show you guys before I head off. Unless you guys have anything else. Let me see. Where did I put this? Find where I saved this. Saved it somewhere. No, I'll just go to my Twitter. Alright. Pull that up. My apologies, guys, for the unprofessionalism. I'm just trying to get this set up for you guys. Like I said, I was late to the show. I didn't want to be too late, so I wanted to get started already, because I was focusing on finishing that video about Vince's greatest creation, WrestleMania. All right, guys, here's the schedule for the World of Wrestling show this week. Obviously, Monday Night Raw is going to be the same. We're going to do a live review right after Monday Night Raw, 10:05. Well, usually it's like 10:15. But right after Monday Night Raw, you can find me here on the World of Wrestling show. Go live for Monday Night Raw, the review. Tuesday, Smackdown review, obviously, at 9:05 p.m. That's also right after Smackdown. We'll talk WWE Smackdown the week right before, or the Smackdown before Mania. Wednesday, this is the video I've been talking about, Vince's greatest creation, WrestleMania. Just a little thing on the side I've been working on, something kind of short. Did my history on Vince and his father, and I thought it'd be interesting for a lot of fans to watch. Thursday, Showstopper episode 7, the show you're watching right now, Showstopper, where we usually talk WWE news, rumors, and predictions. I'm gonna move it to Thursday, and it's gonna be at 9 p.m. Central, which is the same time I start every week. But instead it's gonna be a Thursday, and I'm probably gonna hold back on the predictions because on Friday it's gonna be WrestleMania 34 and NXT Takeover predictions. That's where I'll talk about all the predictions. I kind of wanted to gap it out since it's kind of a lot to talk about. I'll move it over to the side a little bit. That'll be at 10 p.m. on Thursday. Saturday, NXT Takeover New Orleans review. Right after NXT Takeover, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be joined by my co-host Nate, as he's been telling me over and over, like he doesn't want to miss this show. He wants to be here to talk about it. So looking forward to that. And then, of course, Sunday, the big night, man, WrestleMania 34 review. I'm not sure, like, if I'll be on right after the show. It may be 30 minutes to an hour. Hopefully, it's not too late for everyone, but feel free to join me, man. I'll be up late for that. Biggest night of the year, obviously, WrestleMania. Big night for wrestling fans. So that's it. If you missed something on the schedule and you want to know more about it, you can go to my Twitter or the Twitter of the World of Wrestling Show. I have it in the description of every video. You can follow us on there. I usually post like news and rumors and stuff ahead of time, in case you're interested on knowing that stuff. Besides that, guys, I think that's gonna be it for me. If there's nothing else to talk about, just psyched for WrestleMania, guys. Quick sum up. Brock Lesnar, his contract coming to an end. It's also with Paul Heyman's contract. Will Paul Heyman leave the WWE? I don't know. Another thing that went down, Maurice, she gave birth to the Miz's daughter. Her name is Monroe Sky Mazanin. Ronda Rousey had this awkward interview on ESPN. AJ Styles' injury was having to do with his MCL, but apparently from AJ Styles himself, he's okay. Dean Ambrose is apparently rehabilitating his tricep, and he was taken off the WrestleMania Access. So fans are starting to question, is Dean Ambrose ready to come back? What's going to go on with Dean Ambrose? Hulk Hogan, is he going to return? Paul Heyman talked about, what else did Paul Heyman, did I miss this? Paul Heyman talked on the subject. I think it was just Paul Heyman talking about CM Punk or something. I think that's what it was. The Rock, he may return at WrestleMania. NXT this week should be exciting. Of course, NXT TakeOver New Orleans is going to be exciting. One of the best shows of the year. It's going to steal it. It might be better than WrestleMania. I know it's kind of a long shot, but it's not really a long shot. NXT is pretty damn good. John Cena to not be around really much after WrestleMania. WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar had possibly his last win at a WWE live event when he F5'd Kane in a triple threat match against Braun Strowman and Kane in about a 5-minute match. WrestleMania is scheduled to be 7 hours long. A wrestler got attacked by a fan at an indie show for spitting on a child, something you shouldn't do. The WrestleMania 34 set kind of leaked. I don't know. Not exactly. Shane McMahon, is he going to return this week? Braun Strowman, who's his tag team partner, going to be? The Undertaker should return, obviously, for this last Monday Night Raw. Why wouldn't he be there? And musical performance. Who knows who's going to perform? I gotta get my words straight, man. Let me guys know what your thoughts are. If you have any more questions, feel free to always leave something in the comments, even if the video isn't live. Obviously, if you're watching this later, you can just let me know in the comments below what you thought or what your predictions are for WrestleMania or anything WWE, anything, let me know about the show, any improvements you want to see. That's about it, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching the World of Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Jake Randy, and I will see you guys next time, which is a Monday Night Raw review. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Gundam always in the chat. Appreciate it, man. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.